Hi everyone, welcome. So happy to see you all. How's everybody doing? I am so sorry that I'm late. I've had quite a day and I had to do my hair. So I've had like a bunch of errands to do. I lost my social security card. So I have to get a new one and I have to get a Florida ID, which is the website was like crashing on me. So that's what I was doing. And it got prolonged and prolonged because I had to be on the phone with people and stuff like that. So I'm so sorry, guys. But I just finished recording 2025 predictions. I do also have a special exclusive for Tarot class. And I have why I hate Sagittarius. I just recorded all of that just now. So I will edit it and it will be out for members tomorrow. I will be, like I always do, on Wednesday. I will premiere everything for everyone. So please make sure you subscribed, you like, you comment so that I stay in your algorithm and I stay in your feed. A bunch of you have been messaging me that you've emailed me, you've messaged me stuff that is very important that I need to know. I haven't had time. I'm so sorry, guys. I have had a lot. I'm releasing an app, and every time I submit it, it gets rejected. So I have to like adjust. I was meant to do it last month. So I've had to be patient with myself, and it's actually kind of brought my mood down. So I'm trying to be positive about it, and it will be up soon. I just have had so much focus on that. So I apologize that I've been MIA from messaging you guys and so forth. Okay, so let's get into this. I am doing this hot topics update. So fun. I love doing these. I'm taking a break from the couples update this week, and next week we will be back. So yeah, let's get into it. I'm going to start off with JC versus Tony Buzby. I spelled his last name incorrectly, I'm sorry, but it's usually double E. So he has the same name as my grandfather, actually, Tony. I'm going to read Jay-Z's chart. I couldn't find Tony Buzby's chart, obviously, because he's not that much of a public figure. But it seems to me like he's a Gemini, because he's June 1st, which is Gemini, right? Yeah. Yes, that's Gemini. I had to recalibrate my brain. Okay, so let me show you guys. Share screen. Astrology chart for Jay-Z. So he's a Sun in Sagittarius. It is Sagittarius season. Oh, let me give you just a quick backdrop. Quick story about what has been happening with Jay-Z. I've called this since Diddy, since the complaint came out about Diddy that Cassie made public with her lawyer. Cassie Ventura alleged that Diddy had done some things to her, and people, it's so funny. I'm seeing a mirror of exactly, and I can even show you guys the headlines that came out when Cassie filed her lawsuit. They said it was extortion. They said it was blackmail. Turns out it was the truth, because we all saw the Diddy video of him being horrible. I don't want to say the word because I don't want to get demonetized, but doing things to Cassie that were very inappropriate and criminal behavior. So it's just very ironic that seeing the same tactic, even the media, especially, this is what I find very disappointing about black media. They'll make this about a race thing and say, why are you trying to bring a black man down? No matter what race you are, if you break the law, you should go to jail. If you mistreat people, you should be held accountable. That's just the way it is. So thank you all of you who have joined, by the way. I would love to hear how you guys are doing, just because I see a lot of you watching. Okay, so Sun in Sagittarius, Jay-Z, Moon in Libra, interesting, rising in Pisces. I can see the rising in Pisces. And Venus in Sagittarius. So I've predicted this, that this is going to be 2025 is going to be a terrible year for Jay-Z. I've been accurate almost to the T about everything. Something that I predicted that hasn't come out yet is that more people come forward and the Beehive is going to turn on Jay-Z. He's going to be seen with a woman who is Caucasian, and that's going to set the Beehive on fire, because I think the Beehive is very caught up in race, caught up in things that they're just very blinded by reality. And I'm not saying race is not an issue sometimes, but when it becomes about everything, that's really a problem. So I want to tell you guys a quick story. So I was reminded about, I used to be a big Beehive person. I wouldn't say I was completely in the Beehive, but I loved Beyonce. I loved Lemonade. I loved Countdown. I loved a lot of her music. I grew up on Beyonce. I grew up on Destiny's Child and I grew up on Beyonce. I knew every dance move to the T. When I turned 28 on my birthday, 7 years ago, I met one of Beyonce's background singers. She was at a karaoke lounge that I was at. Same night, I met Dwayne Wade. I met this really cool guy who was Dwayne Wade's friend. And I just met a lot of cool people that night. But she always struck with me. This was in Williamsburg. It was at this karaoke lounge. I forgot what it's called. But I met her, and I had told her I was moving to LA. I was moving to LA at the end of the year. I told her that, and she said to me, "Don't move." I was like, oh my gosh. Usually when people tell me not to do something, I often distance myself from that person because I'm like, they seem like they're projecting. But she seemed like she was trying to caution me. And trust me, I'm glad I moved to LA because I learned a lot of lessons. I'm glad I didn't stay there. And I explained to her, I don't plan on staying there for long. I just want to see where yoga takes me. I plan to move to teach yoga full time. And she said, good, because that place is a very dark place. And I was like, New York, is it? She was like, no, it's not as bad as LA. She went on and on and on. And I just let her vent because I felt like she needed to. Sometimes you just need to give people space to vent. It seemed to me like she was very lonely at that time. And she told me some stories about Beyonce. I'm not going to get too much into it, but I believed her. I totally believed her. And from then, something switched in me because at the time, I was also dating this producer who had told me that Jay-Z had stolen some of his material. So at the same time, literally within a month, he had told me a month before. And then February 6th, my birthday, I'm at a karaoke lounge. She's telling me something about Beyonce. So she said she worked with Beyonce. She said she worked with Solange. And, I could just tell she was telling me the truth. So I always kept it in my mind. We didn't really keep in touch. I texted her, but she didn't reply. And I don't really like to text people back that don't reply to me. It has to go both ways. I've just always been like that. So I always kept it in my mind that this was like that this story. And same thing with the producer. I didn't keep up with him either because he was very work. Even though we briefly dated, I didn't keep up with him because he was very work-oriented, and I felt like he didn't make time for me. And I was planning on moving to LA, so I was like, I don't want to be in a relationship at that time. So, long story short, that made me not be a Beehive anymore. And I started to see different things about Beyonce. I started to see that with her Beehive, she never tells them to stop. That's something that I appreciate about Selena Gomez. Every time they go after Hali Bieber, she tells them to stop. She tells them, it's just, she will hold them accountable. But Beyonce never will. Only once, and she did it through somebody else. So go back and watch a lot of my videos about Beyonce and Jay-Z because it's all coming true. And I've said this before. I've heard from people who personally worked with Beyonce and Jay-Z horrible, vile things about them. And I believe these people, because why would they lie? And all of them have such a specific story that's so similar, I did say in one of my readings that Jay-Z is getting his karma. And I really believe it starts now. 100%. And funny that it's Sagittarius season for this to start. Now, Tony Buzby being a Gemini is very helpful because, I'll show you, because Geminis are often the demise of Sagittarius. If you know any circumstance where Sagittarius has felt like they're too high above, sometimes they can do that. The shadow side of Sagittarius is being too cocky. They can get away with things, but then karma is like, hey, oftentimes their karma is a Gemini. So let's see, I'm using the Crystal Magic Tarot. Let's see how everything's going to unfold, because it's going to be very interesting. Very, very interesting. I did say next year is going to be a terrible year for him. I think this is what I see happening, because I predicted this before. I said that I strongly believe there will be a woman working closely with him around Super Bowl. And then the beehive is going to turn. The beehive, they call it Beyonce's internet because the beehive just runs rampant on that. The beehive is going to start pull up clips. They've already pulled up clips from the past, but more clips will be pulled up. More and more and more and more, to the point that Jay-Z can no longer run. So let's see what the future is for this Jay-Z versus Tony Buzby. Let's see. First, let's look at the energy. And I also find it very interesting. Basically, what's happening, because I didn't get to that, I'm sorry. Jay-Z alleges that Tony Buzby is extorting. And I would love to hear you guys' opinions. So if you want to tell me how you feel about this lawsuit. To me, I've sued, not personally, I've done it through other people. I don't want to give too much of my legal stuff away. But I have been involved in some litigious situations, and I've come out winning in all of them because I have this ability to see the law as the law. People are talking about it as legal extortion. There's no such thing as legal extortion. Extortion, excuse me. Extortion is illegal. So if it were extortion, he wouldn't be able to do it. Just letting you know. And it's almost the same. It's mimicking the same. They said Cassie was blackmailing Diddy. They said all of that kind of stuff. And people also say, how come the alleged victim didn't go to the police? And same thing that I said with Cassie. We all knew Diddy had the police in his back pocket. Same thing with Jay-Z. So I'm not saying Buzzbee isn't unethical, but when you're dealing with dog people like Jay-Z, you have to be willing to be dog yourself. Legally, but you have to be willing to do it. And I think a lot of people get scared and intimidated, but he's not. Tony Buzby is not. So Page of Cups. Okay, so basically at war, 5 wands at war. Usually 5 wands means like competition, they're going back and forth. Like, you did this, I did that, negotiating. Negotiating went sour, and then Buzzbee was like, he pulled the plug. He's very smart. I say this all the time. People say Sun and Aquarius are the most intelligent sign, or Virgos. I disagree with that. To me, the most intelligent zodiac sign, and I just said this in one of my videos, in the video I recorded, Geminis are the most intelligent sign. I strongly believe that. I strongly, strongly believe Geminis are the most intelligent, creative. Their brains are, they're very, very smart, very clever too. So he messed with the wrong one. Jay-Z messed with the wrong one. And this is all a part of Buzzbee's plan. So let's see what else is going to happen. Okay, so next step is a settlement. 6 of Cups, the Empress, and 4 of Swords is a settlement. But one of the settlement clauses, and this is intuitive, so it can change, guys. I always want to say that to you. I pick up energies, I don't pick up facts. So when people say, oh, you didn't pick that up, I don't pick up facts. I pick up energy. So things can change. But right now I'm seeing a settlement happening. Very soon, in the next 2 months, he's going to settle. And after he settles, he's going to be forced to settle. She has some evidence that she hasn't released yet, the victim, that is accurate. They have something, they have a smoking gun that they're going to release. Part of the settlement clause will be something like go public. It will be something to do with her privacy, of her needing to be out there. I don't fully know what it is yet because she's very closed off. I strongly believe it happened to her. But this is the difference. I don't think, and I was 13 once, acting like I was like an older teenager. Obviously, to adults, I looked like, not that I was 13, but I looked like I was 16, 17. And we know that Jay-Z has dated 16, 17-year-olds in the past. I think the limo driver thought this girl obviously wasn't 13, which is terrible. Any kind of teen is terrible. But he thought she was 16 or 17. He thought she was like 3 years older. That's what he meant by his type. And we'll get to the other lady too, who I believe the other lady to be. This is intuitive, guys. Please don't take it as facts. But I do strongly believe it happened to her. Intuitively, I'm inclined that way. Because I see her being like guarded and broken. So broken. And anybody blaming her, shame on you. Absolutely shame on you. Okay, I blame all her parents, really. But then also, we don't know the situation. Sometimes parents have to work. They give, So I don't want to be so hard on parents either. But really, it's the predator's fault. Okay. So let's see. What will the outcome be? Why is she so guarded? I mean, I know why she's so guarded, but how is she going to be public? So I see there's going to be a settlement. Okay. There's going to be a settlement. Then she's going to come out and do some kind of interview. But, okay, this was my second point that I wanted to make, and I got a little sidetracked. Sorry, guys. The second point I want to make, okay, so this woman is married now. She's going to come out and say she's married now. She has children. And she just wants to, I'm going to cry. This is very emotional. She wants the world to be safer for her children. She wants the world to be safer for her children. And she's going to donate a part of her settlement to some kind of foundation. But she's married, has children now. I don't want to give her identity away, like what she looks like. But the reason why she's kept herself secret is because of intimidation. And it's because, when you come out, not so much Jay-Z, but Beyonce, her people are crazy. I'm not afraid. I'm like, whatever. But imagine being somebody who hasn't been exposed to Hollywood since you were a kid, stuff like that, where you're already traumatized. You don't want people coming after you again, especially after the Beehive is so crazy. So that's what I have for you. He's going to settle with her in the next 2 months. So let's see if there's going to be any more lawsuits. He's going to be forced to settle. He's going to be forced to settle in the next 2 months. So we're in December. So in February, by February, he's going to settle. He's going to be mad that he has to settle. He's going to be. But at the same time that he settles, just like I predicted that they would be putting out pictures and like, acting like everything's fine. I don't know if you guys caught this. I saw this because I was paying close attention when I'm not watching reality TV. I watch the news sometimes. And I saw a news clip of Beyonce going first, then Jay-Z going second. They went separately. They didn't go together. And I've had a theory that they're separated. but they just put up for public appearances. But once he's pictured with this woman, that's when Beyonce is going to pull the plug and she's going to run away to France. So let's see, what else is in the pipeline for Jay-Z? So I see 3 more people coming forward. One of them is a man. And it's not the Diddy thing that I saw. I saw today 3 more people came forward for Diddy. It's not him. I've already covered Diddy, and I'm going to cover him again after this. But 3 more people coming forward. One of them is a guy, a young guy, 20-something, alleging some kind of lawsuit. It could be his son, because it's not necessarily sexual related, but he's going to have a lot of lawsuits on his hand. 10 of Wands, 8 of Swords. He won't be able to get out. It almost makes me feel like he could be going to the next. But I'll keep you guys updated because it's not certain yet. I see a lot of trouble coming for him. And Beyonce moving to France. Okay, so that's what I have for you guys. Unless anybody has something to say, I'm going to move on to the next one. I really feel for that victim. I feel for all true victims. And I believe her. I 1,000% believe this woman. And the media did the same thing, especially black media, which I find so disappointing, is they'll denounce the victim, you know, like with Diddy, they were talking so much. I was going to swear. Well, not really swear, it's like a half swear word, but I don't want to risk any monetary, any money coming in, so I'm going to stop right there. But they were talking so much smack about Cassie until that video came out. So just like I believed Cassie, I believe this woman. I thoroughly believe her. Thoroughly. And you can say whatever you want, but I believe her. Okay, let's move on to Diddy. Okay, I'm going to show his chart. Sun in Scorpio, Moon in Virgo. His Moon in Virgo could be why he's so controlling. Venus in Libra, and there's no rising. You know, I'm seeing that about, but Scorpio men can be like that. It can be very controlling. So let's see the update on Diddy. Oh my gosh, Diddy. I've been almost accurate, 100% accurate. No, I've been accurate about him. Go back and watch my Diddy playlist. I have Diddy playlist up. If it's your first time watching, please make sure you subscribe, like. You can watch some of my other videos too if you are on the fence. But let's see. What's the current energy of Diddy? I'm using Earth, Woman, Tarot for this. Okay, so I predicted, this hasn't come true yet. I strongly believe it will come true. I predicted that he's going to marry Carisha. Everything else I've predicted has come true, except for this, which I believe is in the works, because I get Ace of Pentacles, 7 of Cups, and Ace of Cups. So he's going to marry Carisha, and she's going to move around his assets while they get married. Because, you know, part of your spousal privilege is that, number one, you don't have to testify against that person. Number two, you can move around their assets without them physically being there because you hold equitable power. Equitable? Yeah, equitable power. So I see that happening very strongly, and they're going to put off this image of like, oh yeah, we're in love, 4 Pentacles, after a long time, but he's going to end up, oh my gosh, disappearing. I strongly see him disappearing. Now, whether he disappeared, so this thing about Epstein, right? People thought he got, but I don't think so. I think he managed to escape. Same as what's going to happen with Mr. Sean Combs. I definitely see him escaping, and I see him starting a new life because he's able. That's why he's going to move around assets without anybody knowing. Have you guys ever seen the movie Face Off? I know it sounds far-fetched. The movie Face Off was one of my sister's favorite movies. So we used to watch it every weekend. And Nicolas Cage and John Travolta play these like assassin type people, and they swap faces. They have it's such a silly concept, but I'm telling you, there are some people that are on the run that have facial reconstruction to not look like themselves anymore, to get away. They get new passports, they get new this, they get, to basically disappear. And I definitely think that's going to happen with Diddy. It sounds far-fetched, but I definitely think that's going to happen with Diddy. Is that he's going to have so much like facial work done, all that stuff, that a new passport, so forth and so forth, that he's going to disappear. And the cameras are going to go missing at that day. It's very, very similar. If somebody who has the money to spend on lawyers like this, he's going to see there is no escape for me. There's no escape for me unless I make one for myself. So that's what I have for Diddy. Does anybody have anything to say? It's coming. It's in the works. He's going to marry Carisha. And then Carisha is going to make plans for him to get out. They're still working together. I wouldn't even be surprised if they have like telepathic dreams with one another, because they're very connected. I will say that. Very, very connected. Okay, so let's get into, or they're telepathically like speaking, so they don't have to speak. If you guys believe in telepathy, speaking in those ways, I totally believe in it. And they don't have to speak over the phone to communicate with each other. And that's the plan that they're going to pull through. But the legal route, the legal proceedings he's doing, is just a way to divert attention from what he's really doing. He's very smart. He's like a menace to society. Okay, so I'm going to put up Harry Styles' chart. And then I'll conclude. After this, I am doing a members only reading, so please check that out if you want to become a member. I've had, 3 new members this week. Thank you so much for joining, guys. I'm really so grateful. I really appreciate it. Okay, so let's see here. Harry Styles, his sun is in Aquarius, moon is in Libra, rising in Libra, Venus in Aquarius. Those of you who've been in this channel for quite a while know that I have a similar chart to Harry. That's why some of you say I'm his best reader, and I'm so grateful that you say that. I don't give myself that title. Some of you have. I don't believe in being like that. But I just can see a lot of similarities between how I would approach the situation. I'm just fixing my cards. And how Harry would. That's why I've been able to tap into his energy. Okay, so I'm using the new tarot for this. To shuffle the cards. Let's get an update on Harry Styles. So, lots happening. Lots happening. 4 of Swords. Retreating. I think obviously since losing Liam, it hasn't been easy. I feel for him deeply. I feel for all of them. Grief is not easy, especially when you lose somebody. Such crazy circumstances. So young with a child, and it's just not fun. So with the Justice, 9 of Pentacles, I see him wanting to find who was responsible for Liam's death. It's going to bring him peace knowing that we will know what happened to Liam. It's on his top priority right now. Top priority. So, by the way, I did do a What Happened to Liam video, and it is in my members only. So if you want to watch it, check out my membership. But I see him working with them to find out. So let's see his love. Let's see. They said he was linked. I pictured him wanting to help Olivia Dean out. Let's see. Love. Okay, so she's still around. Three of Pentacles, the Magician, the Five of Swords. She's still around, but she kind of doesn't want to get too close to him. I feel like she wants to stay away from his fans. She doesn't want to seem, and I totally get it. I've dated, I don't want to say it like all the time, but I understand, like, when you date somebody that's famous, it does come with, you don't want to feel like a fan to them, you know? And I dated an actor who made me feel, in fact, I've dated a few actors. Some of them are not famous. A few are. One I had a serious relationship with. But he made me feel like an equal. But that's not always the case, you know? And I think she's scared of feeling like a follower by dating him. She doesn't want to come across as like a follower type. She wants to be genuine to herself. She has a very rebellious spirit. But she's kind of playing hard to get. Not playing, she's hard to get. Because she doesn't want to be like everybody else. So what's the outcome? So I see them working together. And her helping him figure out this whole Liam situation. But that's about it. I don't see there being anything substantial coming from this. They'll just be friends. They'll just be friends moving forward. So let's see career. Okay, so lots of good things. I've said this before, I see him playing 2 major roles next year. Right now, he's researching them. It will require a lot of emotion. He doesn't have a lot of water in his chart. Same thing with me. And something I've had to learn as somebody that lacks water in my chart is to have compassion and empathy, like to really practice compassion. And what's helped me with that is surrounding myself with water signs. A lot of my friends are Cancers, you know, Scorpios, not so much Pisces. I have one Pisces good friend, but that's about it. But just surround yourself with water signs, not a lot, but so that you can practice empathy. And really, because if you have a lot of earth and air in your chart, something that's been a challenge for me that I've had to work on is empathy. Even though we're born with empathy, I think everybody is. Aquarius, we're very, in general, we tend to not show people our empathy. And being around water signs reminds us to show people our empathy, to show people our emotions. That emotions are not bad, especially if we feel emotions for other people. We need to express it, expressing emotions. And that's going to help him with his acting a lot. A lot. So that's what I have for you guys. Does anybody have anything to say before I start the live for the members? If not, I'll just make it short and sweet. Thank you everybody for joining. If you aren't subscribed, please subscribe. It really does help out. I'm almost at 6,000. I'm so grateful. Thank you for joining, everybody. Even though I see a lot of you joined, but you're very quiet, and that's totally fine. I'm just grateful that you viewed, and please make sure you're subscribed. I love you all. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. If you're watching replay, don't forget to comment. Take care.